You think everything's good, you walk back to the truck, and then the swarm of border guys get you.
Oh yeah.
Racecraft.
Another podcast. Welcome. This is episode 6 or 6. Holy Toledo.
6.
Of season 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've enjoyed us for the ride so far. Don't forget we are now on Spotify as well. So if you like to listen, check us out there. But as always, we're on YouTube as well and 11Tenths.ca.
That's right.
But we're here to talk about race cars and good decisions or bad decisions. We'll see.
Decisions are made.
Decisions have been made.
Yeah.
Money has left bank accounts. It's too late now.
So we're not talking about me. We're talking about Dave here.
Yeah.
So let's start.
So
what happened? So you're going down the rabbit hole even further on the Z4.
So the Z4 rabbit hole got to the point where we started talking about cages.
Yeah.
You enter certain series or you're doing certain events, you need to have a cage as a standard, especially with a convertible, which my car is. I went down the rabbit hole of getting a hardtop for it. In preparation, we started to work with 11Tenths and then with can alignment for a bit to see what the best thing would do or be for a cage. Just decided it would be too much ripping the car apart, basically.
Yeah, it's not only that, it was also power adder. You wanted to increase the boost, do some engine work.
Still want to do that. No. The point is that you want to maximize a platform. That's the main thing. So an M3 or 3 Series has a lot more support than a Z4. Even though there's the same underneath, you can readily go get a cage. It's a lot cheaper to get parts. There's more parts available. And the platform is maxed in my opinion. Not being an M car from the start, it doesn't have an S54 for those that know the BMW motors. It's not the better inline 6 that I have. So I kind of reached a point where I was maxed out, and it really is, for me, a perfect road car.
The one time I was driving it all the way from Scarborough to Kitchener to give it to you, or home, I was really enjoying the car. The roof was down, it was a nice day, it drives really nice, suspension, brakes, everything's great. I kind of wish you weren't going to go and put like full race seats in there and a cage and just make it like full track, because it's an enjoyable car, right?
And
for the weekend. So.
That's the thing. I personally believe now we're kind of hitting a point with like Teslas and all electric cars. Cars are just getting silly fast.
Yeah.
And you're breaking speed limits and laws before you know it. And this car, I like to say it's like a bigger Miata. In all honesty, which means I can go a little bit faster than a Miata, but I'm still not breaking speeds and laws. I can roll through 2 or 3 gears and still enjoy myself on a Saturday or Sunday and still go to the track. But I wanted a dedicated track car, and I had the luxury to make that choice. And
so you're looking at different platforms?
A bunch of different platforms, and not with a big budget. We were talking about the Lucky Dog series that 11Tenths was running, which we've showcased in season 1.
So you're looking at that Maxima, right? The Nissan Maxima?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure it was an Altima. No taillights, a couple of dings. Something rear-wheel drive. It's as simple as that.
We're joking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, or something rear-wheel drive. Still German.
Yeah.
I had considered building a Lucky Dog car at E46, so I had decided to take on a project there. The project was a bigger undertaking than I thought. It was partially finished, but needed a lot of work, and I had a budget. That's the key thing. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
I had a budget. I had planned to spend the budget over 2 or 3 years, but I've got a family. I've got a son at home, and do I want to? I've spent 5 years working on the Z. Do I want to do that all over again with another car?
Yeah.
No.
It's true. Like right now, your time is crucial.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit there wrenching on a car, or do you just want to you've got half a day get in the car, start it up,
turn the key,
and go racing.
Go. Yeah, exactly.
And then come home and then spending more quality time with the family, right? So
I will highlight Brad with one thing he said, because we were talking. He said, "Dave, what do you want to do? Do you want to build a car and race it, or do you want to buy a car and race it?" And in an ideal world, I would love to build a car and race it. That's the Gran Turismo driver, just all of the things that you'd love to do. But let's be honest, sometimes you have to make some better decisions. So I started looking at platforms, all sorts of different websites. You know, your standard Auto Trader, Bring a Trailer, Kijiji,
Racing Junk.
Racing Junk was key. And then the main thing was narrowing down what I wanted. Whenever I've picked a car, it's always been, you narrow down between a platform or two, you try them out, and away you go. And it landed on M3, E46.
E46,
right? So a mid-2000s era M3, or a C5, C6 Corvette, depending on budget. And the main thing there is similar platform with the M3, some shared parts with the Z, which would have been nice.
But spoiler alert.
Yeah, we went with a Vet. And again, Randy's advice, we have some good conversations that we like to share with you, and one of those was, well, the M3 is going to be pretty similar to the Z4.
Yeah, I mean, you got the same power, you know, basically. You know, your speeds at the end of the straight will differ by a couple
kilometers an hour, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's almost like the same experience, right?
It's pretty, and the platform's the same underneath. You sit slightly differently, maybe that's it, but it's not that much different. The C5, everyone said it. We're gonna continue to beat the same horse.
Yeah.
It's the perfect cheap platform to go fast. It really is. You've got your LS. Oh, and then even the thought process when I was talking about building an E46 was, I'll swap an LS into it. Well, that's $8,000. I don't care what anyone tells you about an eBay motor. If you know how to do it yourself, fine, $1,500, or a junkyard motor.
It creeps up.
It creeps up. If you want to actually build something that might last you, minimum. And I talked to multiple builders, multiple shops, minimum 7,000-8,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so, a lot of times it's not even the engine, it's the transmission, trying to find.
Oh yeah, you can't find one. I budgeted to buy new for that reason.
They cost more than the motor, the trannies, right?
Yeah, it's true, because they're shared by so many things. They're great. I was looking at people start using Nissan transmissions, and you got a hodgepodge of all sorts of different trannies and whatnot. And basically it was just a no. Buy the car that's going to be best for the track, and the C5 all around was it. So what did that mean? Start searching for C5s, looking at your Sunday drivers with low miles, or try finding something that's already been partially done, buying someone else's project, which can also be buying someone else's problems.
Yeah. Completed project.
Yeah.
Right? The whole idea was to have a car that's running.
Yeah. So I narrowed it down over the course of a few months. There were 3 or 4 different Vets. 3 that I kind of narrowed down to in my price range, which was about 20 to 25 US, with the idea that I'd be talking some people down, right? And I missed out on a golden one. I'll tell you that. If you're looking for a while and you know what you're looking for, just make the offer, okay? Because I missed out on a golden one, and I ended up getting my second choice. No regrets.
No regret.
But it was a couple of decent parts that were the difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I found a car, and the key thing there was something that was prepped. It had a cage. I'll tell you a little bit about the car. It's 2001. Chevy Corvette Z06. It's got a stroked motor out to 6.2 liters from a 5.7. A little bit of suspension work. It's got brake work, so Willwood 6 pots in the front, 4 pots in the back. And it's been lightened. There is no heat. There's no AC. They even took out the windshield washer fluid bottle. So I have the history on the car. Unfortunately, at the price range I was at, I don't have a ton of history. So that's actually been part of the fun for me, is trying to chase down some of the history. Supposedly the motor was built by Faster Proms. I'm in touch with them. They are really hard to get in touch with though. And then I got whatever data I could. But the main thing was getting the car up on a hoist and taking a look at everything. Everything. I don't remember how much I shared with you already, but like one of the first things we found, the brake ducts for the rear brakes, those were loose and bouncing around. There were brake lines that were dragging on wheels that, fix them up right away. And then there's some surprises. There was a custom radiator scoop for cooling and stuff like that. Someone built off the front that's quite nice. And I'm still sorting through all that stuff. But the big part was the journey. Like I said, time for me is fleeting. I don't have a ton of time these days. And
we had 2 days.
It's more pressing than that. Number one rule, when you're importing a car from the States...
We had 2 days, and we were almost in Florida and back in 2 days.
It's true. Okay. he joined me for the drive. The paperwork and negotiations started well before that. But you have to give the U.S. government or import, export, whatever, 72 hours before the car leaves the country. That's just a thing. It's been around since 2013, roughly.
Yep.
You have to. So I hired a broker. They helped me out.
Initially, we thought it was just for a car that's going to be licensed in Canada for the RIV process. That's not true. It's actually anything that's being exported, whether it's a race car or a street car. Yeah. So just to clarify that.
Yeah. So be aware of that. The thing was, this was going to be a track car. We weren't going to make it street legal, so we weren't worried, but you had to anyway. So 72 hours. So once I got that clearing, I found that out on a Tuesday. It was going to clear by like Friday afternoon. I'm like, okay, we leave Wednesday evening. It works out well for both of us. Randy was working while we were driving. So we left Wednesday after work, got on the road from Kitchener at around 6 p.m.
6 o'clock or so, yeah.
And we were in Detroit by
So we had the pickup truck and an open trailer.
Open trailer.
Yeah. And we basically just had dinner in Detroit for, I don't know, 9 or whatever.
Yeah, 8:39. Sweetwater Tavern. That was a must.
Yeah, we had some wings and ribs.
That's a Detroit stop that we always make, which is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And we'll loop back to the trailer. Some special stuff about that made loading the car a little difficult. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, and then we just continued on, and I think we stopped, I don't even know where.
London, Kentucky.
It was Kentucky, okay.
Yeah, I just know because there's a London, Ontario. So I was like, oh,
it was
London,
Kentucky at 2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we basically we said that's it.
Yeah, like at that point, we had driven, what was that, 6 hours?
It was about 8.5.
8 hours. And the thing was, it was like, okay, we don't want to risk anything. We'd rather just catch some shut-eye. So pull off the highway at the next biggest, It was actually surprisingly hard to find a vacant hotel room. So so we hit 2 hotels. And then the third one was like, well, we don't have anything. So we had a Motel 6. They had one place, like we called in, and we get there and they check us in. That's all well and good. It's now 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
By the time we settled in, it was probably quarter after 3.
Yeah, so we got basically 2 hours and 15 minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
We got up at 5:20.
Yeah.
And we're leaving at 5:30. The same receptionist that checked us in, she's like, you guys can stay a little longer, right?
Yeah. It was, the look on her face was priceless.
Like, I had no idea. We're able to stay longer than 2 hours at the hotel.
Yeah. Well, see, the whole thing there is if I would have asked for an hourly rate, just Randy and I, that might have been a little weird.
That's true.
But yeah,
I don't even know if 2 hours helped us, but I was like,
I felt better. But at this point, I'm like adrenaline of like, let's go get this car, right? So the key thing there is that coffee in the States sucks so bad.
It's just like it's flavored water. I mean,
it's the best way to describe
the hint of flavor.
Which is why Starbucks is doing so well. Yeah. Because by comparison, like the drip coffee that they had for us in the morning was terrible. It was flavored water. Then we stopped at a McDonald's or somewhere. Oh no, where did we go?
Waffle House. Yeah. The food was good. The coffee was.
Yeah, the food was very good.
Yeah.
Got on the road with some cheap gas. That was one benefit of being in the States, with some cheap gas, at least by comparison. And away we went. Yeah, we got to our destination, which was like an hour southeast of Atlanta. It was almost to Augusta, Georgia. For those of you that are into golf, that's where the Masters are.
What time? We got there around 2, right?
Yeah, 2:30. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're driving for another 10 hours there.
Yeah, we have to stop at the border to take a picture of the Georgia sign for
and then
nostalgia reasons.
Yeah, and then so we got there and the guy was like showing us a car and we were taking it for a rip.
Yep.
Taking the race car for a rip down the street.
Which is funny because it was plated. It was plated for Georgia, wherever the heck they were. That car was completely street legal with a 6-point cage and what we think still has to go on the dyno, but somewhere in the realm of 500 horsepower. It doesn't matter if that's wheel or crank. That's still a decent amount of power.
Yeah, it was definitely quick, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a lumpy cam. Let's put it that way.
So I have found out it is a custom ground road racing cam.
Oh, yeah.
And it's straight piped right now, which is way too loud for many tracks. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But it is straight piped and weirdly enough, not out the back. All vets have standard is 4 exhausts. That's like the Corvette thing out the back. 4 pipes, I should say.
Yeah, this one's got 2 dumps behind the rear tires on the side.
It's not even like a side pipe out the sill. It's out the rear rear bumper. It's a drag thing is what I've read.
I think it's so that they actually have a functional diffuser back there.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah. I mean, it does have some pretty good aero, right? You got the ARP wing.
APR wing on the back. It's got
APR.
APR, and then a fairly...
I sell too much ARP, that's why.
ARP's good stuff.
APR,
Yeah. So anyway, APR, and then the same thing. It's got a lip on the front. Yeah. Same idea. Mm-hmm. So some decent aero there. But so I took it up and down and
checked out okay.
Yeah, nice place to visit. We actually met the guy's dad at his garage. And he's got a Corvette family.
Yeah, a Corvette family for
100%.
Sure. They had a whole bunch of Corvettes.
He had a C6 and then a C7 with some substantial modifications as well. Mm-hmm. So then we take it for a rip. We're like, okay, let's exchange the deal. He counts the cash over about 1 million times, and then we started to load up the trailer. And that's when the problems came.
It didn't quite fit on this trailer. It took us about an hour and a half to put it on the trailer. Yeah. So, we were really toiling with this thing.
Let's put it this way. Between Randy and I, first time driving this car, we've driven our fair share of cars, but the clutch was sticky.
You stalled it several times on the road.
It's true. I stalled it 2 or 3 times on the road.
Yeah.
Not that you stalled it, but it was jumpy with the clutch.
Yeah, it's very finicky clutch.
What I was talking about with the trailer comes in now. For some reason, the trailer that I got, it was a great deal off Kijiji, open trailer, but it's got 2 angle iron stops on the very back where the ramps are.
Yeah, so basically the ramps, it's got these little triangular things that are supposed to give it traction or give it bite. So for the tires when they climb up it.
Yeah. But when it goes over top of it, if you don't have enough momentum, it's just bang, bang, and it's...
Yeah. Anyways, he was bottoming out the sill on the trailer.
Yeah.
And we even cranked the tongue up so that it was less of an angle.
And I have ramps for the trailer, like wood ramps that I've made, which I've now made even larger ones. Yeah. And it's a whole thing. So that was tough to do.
And then the width of the trailer. So we finally got it on the trailer, and then we couldn't open the door.
Because it wouldn't clear the wheels.
Yeah, it wouldn't clear the fenders on the trailer.
So it's Dukes of Hazzard to get in and out of the car.
Yeah, so we had the windows down to get in and out of the car, and then we're trying to use the key fob to close the windows because they're expecting rain on the drive back to Canada. I couldn't keep the windows down.
Yeah, so we had to put the windows up, but every time we put them up, because they were, I guess the seals and everything wasn't adjusted properly, they basically hit a sensor, just went right back down, immediately down again. So we're like, oh man, what do we do?
Yeah, and we're of course, on the verge of killing the battery here because we just keep trying to trick the window.
Yeah, so we finally figured it out.
Yeah,
strapping it down for the first time. Allot yourself some time if you're going to be picking up a car with a trailer because you got to figure out how to strap it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right? We did take longer than we were expecting.
Oh yeah.
But we did it. We got there. We're just like, car's on, let's go. We have places to be.
That's it.
So went.
We left there and we hit rush hour traffic in Atlanta at 5 o'clock. We're like.
And everyone I've talked to says Atlanta's the worst.
Because the 75 goes right through the middle of the city.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. So that wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fun.
No, we finally, I was trying to convince you to get on the HOV. We got Ontario plates, just take the HOV. And then they had this
what is a Peach Pass?
Peach Pass. So they actually have an express HOV, but you didn't want to go on that.
I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable about going with the truck that I borrowed on the Peaches Pass Fast Rainbow Road lane, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay. And trust me, I heard about it for about another 10 miles every so often. Hey. See that guy going past in that lane over there really quickly? That could have been us.
Yeah, they're doing 80 on this Peach Pass, and we're sitting in gridlock. Anyways, okay.
Yeah, we got out of it. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But it would have been better with a Peach Pass.
Yeah.
So we ended up going. We stopped.
We stopped at our friends in Nashville. Right?
Before that, I had. So my wife has spent a lot of time going to concerts and stuff in the States, and she always raves about this truck stop called Buc-ee's with a Beaver. And I am like, why are
I've never heard of Buc-ee's.
No, and he's
been to the US a lot.
He's basically like, what's wrong with you? He's like, why are we stopping at a truck stop? lo and behold, we come to this place. And it's massive. How many pumps were there?
I've never seen
it. There was at least 12, what's the diesel stuff? The DOF? Or what?
The DEF.
There was at least 12 DEF pumps, let alone how many
must
gas
have been 30 pumps. I've never seen so many pumps in my life.
Yeah.
How do they even keep track of who's like paying and who's not?
And then you get in the place, and it is like a Walmart. Yeah. It's as big as a supercenter.
Yeah, but it's all just Bucky memorabilia.
Pretty much.
Souvenirs of a beaver this and a beaver that, and I'm like, for real? Like
the best, you know what it is? It's the kitschiness, because we're coming down the highway. And
there's
signs. It's signs like "Don't forget to check your beaver" and stuff like that, right? Anyway, it's a little bit kitschy, but so we did it. We're there, in and out. Got the T-shirt, literally.
Yeah, we stopped at Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah,
got some food. Mm-hmm. And then we got to Nashville. We stopped at a friend's house, and
Nashville was beautiful.
Yeah, Nashville's a nice city there.
The terrain going over that was basically, was it mountainous? I wouldn't call it mountainous. We were coming in the dark. I couldn't see any mountains. But
Tennessee's awesome for driving. If you're a driver, you want to go to Tennessee.
Yeah, we weren't far from the tail of the dragon.
Yeah, just spend a weekend in Tennessee. All the country roads back there, they're all beautiful. It's amazing.
The houses were nice too.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get to a buddy's place. He was kind enough to host us, which was awesome. Thank you. Yeah. You know who you are.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that. Some more car talk. And then we woke up. What time did we get up? 6?
Yeah, 6. Yeah,
6 in the morning.
Another 4 hours of sleep, and then and on the way back we
tried to find a COVID test.
Well, before that, we went to the
oh yeah! What am I talking about? Yeah, we missed the Corvette Museum.
Yeah. So it was homecoming, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, if we were gonna go, we might as well stop at the Corvette Museum, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad we did. Yeah, 100%.
We stopped. We had, the clock was ticking. We had to stop. We have 1 hour. So we march in there, and we're just like rifling through, taking pictures of all the cars. Kind of going through. It was a pretty big museum.
We went through fast.
We
went through in an hour, and I'd say 20 minutes of that hour we're in the gift shop. Looking for Corvette shirts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, but it was great. I mean, you get in there, right off the bat. If you have a Corvette, there's Corvette parking. Yeah. They have motorhome parking. They had trailer parking. Like they know what they're doing.
They do have an amazing racetrack there. Yeah. It's called National Corvette Museum, NCM track. That's what NCM track. It's really nice. It's a really nice track. I haven't been on it myself, but
So we didn't get a chance for that. That's in the list of things to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for example, you get there. And it's all not profit, right?
Yeah.
So they have bricks that are all donated in terms of who's donated, like different Corvette clubs around the world.
Yeah.
There's right as soon as you get to the front door, there's a display case. There was a turning race Corvette at that point on the rotisserie.
Yeah, they had any significant Corvette ever made, or a movie car, or racing, or victory cars, or even prototypes.
Yeah.
Everything was in the museum.
Yeah, what did they have? So they had the rotary Corvette prototype. They had the first rear engine, which was my favorite.
Yeah, rear engine Vette. Yeah.
And then they had original Vette. They had the first Corvette, but split in half, so you could see all the inner workings, clay models.
Yep.
They had full-size dioramas where it was like a full-size shop or like a full-size gas bar with the cars there and what it would have looked like in the era, which was pretty neat to kind of see. That was museum type stuff.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, something significant happened that they've benefited from, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
In a way,
they have this at the end of the tour. They have like a large dome type, area where they have a lot of the cars in, and I guess they didn't really know, but there was like a cave. There's like a water running through, and they have a cave underneath it, and then eventually the floor just gave through, and there's a sinkhole.
Yep.
So like a large portion of the museum just collapsed, and a whole bunch of cars like just fell into the sinkhole.
Yeah, valuable.
And they're actually like 70 feet down, like it's really deep.
Yeah.
So so they of course they pulled all these cars out, and then they filled the hole.
Yeah.
So, and they had like a kind of like a sticker or a paint line all the way around this dome where you can actually see the size of the sinkhole.
It was huge.
And then they left all the cars still like with clay and dirt and damage all mangled. there, with the exception of a couple that they did
not all.
rebuild, right?
They couple of the like more.
They rebuilt a couple.
They rebuilt a couple. Like I can't get at the significance of them now, but the ones that they did leave, you're right. Like they had a one that was crushed, and I mean, like you're looking at a Corvette seat is large, and it was like this big, folded, right? And like the rims and the car well, like you said, the clay and stuff on. It's neat because you're like, oh man, that's a part of history, and it's nice that it's not restored.
They even had a manhole with the plexiglass, so you can look down, and it was all illuminated. You can actually see the depth of the sinkhole.
It was deep.
Like
for a car. But that was part of the museum. Was they had like a room with a projector where you could actually look up, and it was showing the car's fault, like how it would open and how it fell.
They definitely milked it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a whole portion of the museum that's just about the sinkhole.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was really interesting. I found that more interesting than the older cars, but that's just me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It was a bit for everyone. They had race cars, prototypes, the sinkhole. They had, and you know what? Actually, if honestly, some of the most interesting stuff was right near the end. They had non-Corvette cars, but it were all based on Corvette. So they had a Corvette boat, which someone converted like an old C4 into a boat. They had the Mosler, which was honestly that was my favorite if I had to pick one. And they had a couple of beautiful hot rods and like European cars. They had we talked about in the previous episode. They had one of the Italian designed Pininfarina or whatever. One of the Italian designed Vettes, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had a Riddler winner as well, like a show car.
Yeah, that thing was beautiful.
So, and then obviously they dump you out into the museum store,
the gift shop.
After the gift shop.
As with every museum, straight into the funnels into the gift shop.
And sweet.
For one car, there was like everything under the sun you could dream of. Right, from corniness to like nice, cool stuff. Anyway. Keychains and all the rest.
And then they had a whole bunch of C8s that are ready for delivery. So
that was cool. You can get your car.
There must have been 20 C8s that are ready for factory delivery. You have that option. Not in Canada. I've inquired, but you can't do that. So if you're in the U.S., you can request that your dealer, you do the factory delivery there.
I do that. That'd be pretty neat.
I would too if I had the chance.
But so that was cool. So we did that. We got out of there, and then on the road, like I said, we had to find it was still COVID test stuff.
We did that. So we paid through the nose, literally paid through the nose.
I see what you did there.
We got killed. What did they charge us? Like
$120 each, I think.
120 US each for a rapid test.
Yeah, it was brutal. And the thing is like we were within 5 days of that.
It was a rapid test. It was like the break off, put that, but because we had to get somebody to sign off on it. That's why we had to pay the $120 because somebody had to actually sign. And then we never got asked for it at the border.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Didn't even ask for that.
Done and over with. That wasn't the hardest part about crossing back.
So we arrived at the border at midnight, right? Yeah, it was midnight. So we finally got there.
Maybe a little before, but not by much.
Yeah.
So this is a key learning part of the story for myself, and I'll share with you guys. So some of you may go to the the ministry and you buy a car, and you may agree upon paying a little less for it. Pretty standard practice. I know everyone I know has pretty much done it within reason. So I decided to do the same thing. At the border. Don't do that. Don't do that. I got a hefty fine. I won't go into that. I got a hefty fine, and they held us up for a while. That was like three forms to do that took them.
So it was, but you know what? It was the way they did it.
Oh gosh.
So you walk in, you got all your paperwork.
Yep.
You pay the tax on your
agreed value.
Your not so true value.
Yep.
They, you go to the cashier, you pay it, they give you the form, you think everything's good, you walk back to the truck, and then the swarm of border guys get you.
Oh yeah. So if they tell you to walk back with the form or whatever right away.
It does not mean you're good to go. It means bend over, get ready.
Yeah.
So we're tied up for several hours after that.
Yeah.
Until they beat the truth out of him, basically.
Pretty much. It was there was a bit of good cop, bad cop going on.
Yeah, it was a lot of good cop, bad cop.
More than one guy came over and rapid fire questions, and it.
Yeah, you got to make sure your story's dead straight, because these guys, this is what they do for a living. They do this every day, all day.
And right? I thought my story was, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was dead straight, good to go. Yeah. But
I'm in the truck just listening to everything, and I can hear I'm shaking my and some of your answers, I'm like, oh, we're busted. Right.
So the key thing here is it came down to, could have sat there, they could have sent us back to the States. We had to go home. I came clean. It's not worth being dishonest.
Yeah, we basically had 7 hours sleep for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's time to go home.
Yeah.
It's time to go home.
Yeah.
So I came clean, paid the taxes, paid the fine. And at one point, it was straightforward. The guy just comes up, he says, okay, so are you paying this fine that we've allotted, or are we seizing the car? Well, what do you think is going to happen, right? So again, be smart, learn from my mistake. It's not worth it. And you may not have made that mistake. So good on you. I was always raised as, pinch pennies and save pennies. And in this time, it finally caught up with me. So don't do that. But yeah, other than that, the process was actually remarkably simple.
Yep.
Get the customs done in advance, 72 hours to go, standard bill of sale. It was kind of interesting working with someone in the States to try and buy the car, like the gentleman who was selling it, because it was, one of us has to send a copy of the deed, technically, right? Because it's all different per each state, to the broker, but someone also has to send cash, and it was a lot of back and forth and a lot of trust there. So, dot your I's, cross your T's, and I took a risk. We went to go see a car basically without knowing it.
Well, you took a risk, and then you got to make sure the party on the other end is also he can trust you, right? Because if they've been burned before, they may not actually do any of this, right? So now you're got to go down with like $20,000 in cash, just because they may not believe in a wire transfer or something, right? So,
But anyway, in the end, got the car home, got it up on a lift, and hopefully within the next week or two, I'll have it on track and kind of start learning a new car around the track, which I'm extremely excited for. She's a bit of a beast. It's I have a healthy amount of reserve about going all the way to the floor right away, but we'll work up to it. And I'm still happy about it. I mean, even with the fine, it was a little bit, heart-wrenching at the time, and beat myself up about it over the next few days. But I would have done it again. I still would have bought this car, even if that was the price that I bought it for. It's still within reason. I got what I wanted, and I wouldn't have found a car like that up here, at least anytime soon.
No, and we were definitely looking. I mean, we were looking Canada-wide so we didn't have to deal with the border crossing. But in the end, it wasn't too bad, the border crossing.
No. But yeah, there we are. We'll keep you up to speed on how that runs and what's next in Corvette land. And that's it.
That's it. That's our episode.
So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. If you had a similar story, let us know. Don't forget to check us out on Spotify, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.